Alright, for the second board game I will be reviewing is actually the first board game I ever got, Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. This game is another campaign game, but boy is it an amazing one. Lots of cool mechanics, not a hefty rulebook, and many cool components. I do not have many of the expansions for it. Well, that's a lie, I have none of the expansions for it. But that does not hinder the gameplay of the core box, so let's dive into the components while I explain some of the mechanics. So, first off, you start with the letter. The story of this game is there's this weirdness, spelled with a Y, that is taking over Avalon. And you play as 4 characters who aren't too profound in their abilities, but they learn a lot as they go throughout their journey, and they go and try to stop this weirdness that is spreading throughout Avalon and taking over. Here's the rulebook, not quite as big as Vanguard's. Still a lot of cool mechanics and whatnot. Save sheets. Here's the tutorial. The tutorial in this game's pretty nice. I wouldn't say as great as Vanguard, but still a pretty good tutorial. Doesn't introduce too many crazy mechanics, which is the point, but it does introduce the bare minimum. This game, unlike Vanguard, you do play individual characters that stay the same throughout the game. So here is the first one. Rev. And then we have Maggot. We have Bior and Alay. So boards are very cool. They're double layered, just like Vanguard, but they have room for our components that you collect. They have room for your statistics along the sides and your character's abilities in the middle, as well as your character picture. And then these are your health, your energy, and terror. So, really cool character boards. I like the way they work. They work very well in the game. And yeah, I'm trying not to spoil too much about the game, but review the general components. This is the Exploration Journal. So this is a story game. This is a very big book. Pretty heavy. This is where all of the story, all of the choices will be made. This is a very choice-heavy game. Let me find a random page. So here, I'll showcase this. So let's say you're on 3. It'll give you the choice between what to do, and depending on what you do, it'll tell you to go to another verse in the book. It's really cool. I explained that poorly, but I'm sure the idea got across well. The Miniers, there's 3 of them. They're very large miniatures. Very cool, though. I love the vibe they give off, and I think they look super cool. But they allow you to explore. They're statues that prevent the weirdness from getting to you. So you can only explore on the board with Miniers in the area. And there is no board in the game. It is just cards. I'll just pick a random amount of cards. They just are out of order, but that's alright. I'll just draw one. So, let's say this is one location you have. You can explore in the areas surrounding it. So, the cards all have numbers on them. So, that number card will be on this side, and so forth. It's pretty self-explanatory, but very cool. The front side of the card has the, general map location, and the back has some art and stuff, and more explanation of it. And that will divert you to the Exploration Journal, that big book I showcased before. Each character has their own model. I'll showcase 2 of those. A lot smaller than the Miniers. I'm standing right next to it. So yeah, they're a lot smaller than the Miniers. Makes sense, and they're on the game. And there's one miniature I won't showcase. It is a little bit of a spoiler, and isn't totally necessary to this review. These are dials that go in the Miniers. They can also be used to make decisions, such as flipping them like coins. They have 2 sides, but they're used to showcase how many days the Miniers have left. That's pretty cool. Lots of cards in here. The camera. Lots of cards. This is the quick save system. So whenever you're done playing a game, each character's cards can go in there. Well, and it has a small slot for their item cards and spells and whatnot. There's 2 dice in here that I use to move around guardians. Lots of red cubes, a couple of purple cubes, classic awaken whelms, Those are used to mark off your inventory. Let me showcase a couple cards while we're here. This is an encounter card. Royal Elk. It will show you how you have to fight, the damage that will be done, the health that this enemy has, and the fighting is a really cool mechanic in this game. It's unique, in my opinion. I can't name a game I've played that has a similar fighting mechanic. You're attaching cards to the enemy card as you make your combos. It's really cool to fight with other people on your team, so I recommend playing this campaign with other people. It can be played solo, but it is more difficult. And yeah, the other mechanic besides combat is diplomacy, which works somewhat similar to diplomacy. Let me see if I can find a diplomacy card. It'd be nice if I could. Those are all character cards. Anyways, I'll just explain how they work. They have like a little slide on them, and you move the cube up and down to showcase how the diplomacy is effectively going. So if it's high, it's good. If it's low, it's not going well. There's some reference cards in here. There's chapters in the game. I believe there's 15 chapters in the game. I can't remember how many parts each one has, but it's, I believe, like a 30-hour campaign. Can't remember how long it took me. Amazing game, great mechanics. The story's great. I'm not going to spoil anything. I do like the story a lot, though. I think it was done well, written well. Overall, a really great game. Lots of cool mechanics. The expansions I don't own, but the stretch goal box did have 2 additional campaigns, one taking before and one taking place after the main campaign. I believe it's 600 and 400 year difference. So if you play them consecutively, you have this one giant campaign that takes place in Avalon. Very different characters. I believe the mechanics are still pretty similar. And whatever. But the way the game runs is on a day-to-day basis. So, order of the day. There's the start of the day, during the day, and end of the day. Start of the day, the Mineers lose time. End of the day, you have to consume food and rest. That's when you can restore your health and energy and whatnot. And then during the day, in the middle of those two, is when you're going out and exploring. And this reference card doesn't explain too much of that, because that's mostly done on the map. This is a great game. Definitely recommend this one if you're a big fan of fantasy, kind of a dark theme throughout the art, but mechanic-wise, I think anyone would enjoy this game. It's very cool. So, I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.